Hello and welcome to another video from me, Rough Swordsman Wargamer. It's an open the box and it's an unboxing of a game from a company in Sweden and deals with a battle that isn't common in wargaming, the Battle of the Lapland War 1944 to 45, and the game's called Tornio 44, Finnish Naval Landing behind the German lines. And as it says there, a board game about the largest battle of the Lapland War, 1944 to 45, designed by, and apologies, Miku Games of Miku Games from Sweden, as I said, published in 2015. The reason I got this game, well, a couple of reasons. The subject interests me, and Miku posted on Facebook that he wanted more space in the warehouse, so he was selling this game at half price at €20, so I couldn't resist that. So what's all this about? When the war between Finland and the Soviet Union ended on September the 4th, 1944, part of the tough peace terms for the Finns was to get rid of the Germans in northern Finland before September the 19th, 1944. The former Waffenbrüder had to be interned to the Soviet Union. For almost 2 weeks, the Finns and Germans, who were unwilling to fight each other, managed to follow a secret retreat plan called the Autumn Manoeuvre, until the Allied, Soviet, Control Commission started to suspect that something was wrong. An ultimatum was issued stating that if Finland would not begin active hostilities against the Germans before October the 1st, at 0800 hours, the Commission would take action. The Finnish Chief in Command and President, Marshal Carl Gustaf Emil Mannerheim, gave the difficult task to one of his most trusted men, the famous general from the Winter War, and I'm not going to try and pronounce his name, to come up with a military plan to solve this problem. He was to be the mastermind behind the daring operation in Tornio. Finland had no landing craft for an amphibious landing. Instead, the landing was to take place from ordinary transport vessels. General Major Matthias Krautler was the commander of Division Gruppe K and responsible for the German forces around the towns of Tornio and Kemi. At first he had 3 infantry battalions and 3 artillery battalions listed there, and some smaller units at his disposal. Most of them were south of Kemi, which also had an important supply depot and airfield. At Tornio, the Germans had only some maintenance units at 2 supply depots, as well as 180 wounded soldiers and personnel in the hospital located in the town. At 0745 hours on October the 1st, 1944, the first Finnish units, JR-11, were disembarked at Raita, excuse my pronunciation, south of Tornio, and the largest battle of the Lapland War was just about to begin. So the game features accurate orders of battle, historical summary and unit organisations, unique combat mechanisms, long-range indirect fire support, hidden German alcohol depots, airstrikes, nighttime rules, fog of war, Finnish naval landings at 3 possible locations, German prisoners and optional rules. The unit scale, companies and batteries, 100 to 250 men, time scale 12 hours per game turn, daytime and nighttime, map scale 1 kilometre, 0.62 miles per hex, playing time 6 to 10 hours, complexity 5 on a scale of 1 to 10, players 2 with a solitaire possibility. And the list of contents: 1 rule manual, 16 pages, 2 identical player aid cards, 2 orders of battle cards, Finnish and German, 1 counter sheet, 228 die-cut counters, 1 map, 84 by 59.4 centimetres, which is 33 times 23 inches, and a regular 6-sided die. Here's a look at the map, which we'll see in detail in a moment, and some of the counters. Right, let's get the shrink wrap off. The shrink wrap is off. It's A 1-inch box by the look of it. Let's see what's inside. So we've got a couple of baggies, one of which contains a couple of D6s and a little note from Miku himself saying he's packed this personally. I think it's just Miku who runs the company, so all kudos to him. And the first thing we see are the rules, so let's have a look at those. So here's the 16-page rulebook. It's version 1. It's now up to its final version of 1.3, and I'll leave a link in the description for you to have a look at the PDF where they've sort of cleared up some errata, clarifications, use a new font and such like to make it easier to read, although this looks okay. So, introduction, contents and abbreviations and the components and what the numbers mean. It's full colour, as you can see, slightly glossy paper, game turns and the sequence of play, stacking limit, fog of war, hex control and zones of control, hex ownership, coup, weather, supply and replacements, engineer units and demolitions, at start units and reinforcements, movement, terrain. The font is quite small, 2 columns, a lot in there, but download the other one and see if it's any better. Overrun, support units and indirect fire support. Then the combat. Broken units, advance after combat, exploitation, Moti, isolation, nighttime, game turns, alcohol depots, how to win, victory points, how to prepare for play, and then some optional rules. Yeah, it's quite dense, the words on the rule book. So Miku, as he says, I think gives it more air in the final edition of the rules, but not unsurmountable. Historical summary, which is always good, and designer notes. The old counters there, and the map, which looks quite nice. And an index at the back, and an appendix with some credits here. Them's the rules. Next, we've got 2 copies of this player aid card, showing the sequence of play in the daytime and the night time, coup, weather, bridge demolition results tables, how each side gets their victory points. And on the other side, we've got the terrain effects table, enemy hex and ZOC cost table, airstrike table, indirect fire support table, and the combat cost table. So 2 of those, and the cardstock's pretty decent. Next, we've got the Finnish Order of Battle card, showing all the reinforcements at the start and the turns they all come in. And on the other side, the Finnish units and organisation as of 7th of the 10th, 44. And here's the German Order of Battle card with the setup units and the turns that the reinforcements come in. And the German units and organisation, roughly. Next, a single sheet of counters, showing the Finnish and the German units, and some admin markers down the bottom there, it looks like. Quite thin, but nevertheless, quite nice looking counters actually. And on the other side is the reduced values. And then there's the map, So let's have a look at that. So here's the map in all its glory. And there was one other thing that wasn't actually in the box. It was packed outside. And that's this Finnish stacking marker boxes sheet, which is a duplicate of this one over here. And I assume it's so you can place it to one side if you're playing solitaire, rather than having to deal with it upside down on the map. Nice little touch there. So here's Finland and Sweden off up there. Quite a nice looking map actually. And I assume these two boxes you use to place a big stack of units and have a marker on the map so it doesn't get too busy. Right, let's have a close-up. So here's one of the towns mentioned, Kemi, and I think these hexagons are landing sites. There's another one up the top of the map, and up at the top of the map is Tornio and another landing site. And just to the left of that, we've got the terrain key showing us that north is that way. That's the map. So this has been an Open the Box, an unboxing of a battle that doesn't have huge representation in our hobby. It's Tornio 44, the Finnish Naval Landing behind the German lines, the largest battle of the Lapland War, 1944 to 45, designed by Miku Games, and again, Miku apologies, and published by his company Miku Games. Well, I hope you enjoyed that and you found it interesting. If you did, and you haven't done so already, it would be great if you would consider subscribing to the channel. It really does help. Pushing the like button of the video as well helps tremendously. The thumbs up. And if you want to be informed of other content the channel uploads, then push the bell. Leave a comment. What do you think? Is it a game that might be of interest to you? I'm looking forward to having a look and see how this works. But let me know. I love to read them. Thanks as always to my subscribers. Thank you very much. And just one last thing before I go. If you wish to support the channel a little bit further, well now you can buy the channel a coffee. And those coffees go towards maintaining the channel and enabling it to continue to upload content. And if you wish to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description. And thank you. So, until next time, as always, you take care and goodbye.